All right, my beautiful people, what is up? Today is my second time recording a Jon Jones heavyweight training here. The last time I recorded this video, my storage ran out, and the video ended halfway through. I didn't realize. So we're back at it again. We're here recording again. Nothing to it. Let's get right into it. So this is Jon Jones training for, I believe, Ciryl Gane back in 2023. That's what we're going to be reviewing here. Should be a little bit of weight training. I'll skip over most of the pad work here just because I'm not the best MMA person. If I see something I have knowledge on, I'll give knowledge, but I don't want to dismantle his coaches on something I don't even know. He does these sprints for a little bit, which Jon has amazing cardio in the UFC. Is crazy cardio, no matter how big he gets, which I would definitely give some credit to his training. Go straight from the treadmill, and now he's doing some pad work. He's doing some kicks, technique work. If you guys want to get the most out of your work like he is right here, well, I don't know about the push-ups at the end, but if you go ahead and do some high-intensity cardio, assault bike, rower, things like that, and then you go into the technique work right after, you're actually going to get a lot better of a result. When you do that, you're going to force your body to do that technique when you're super tired. So you're already exhausted and you're doing that technique. Not only that, you're going to push that cardio of what you need for in a fight, which is to have intervals of high intensity. You're not just sustained for 5 minutes at a crazy pace in a fight. You're finding distance, you're falling back, you're holding for a second, you're clinching against the cage. It's more about explosive movements and then recovering really quick and then explosive movements. A lot of that ATP creatine phosphate system. Some farmer's carries. Guy does a lot of weight. Tricep extensions, pretty big as well. Doing, I think, the full stack here. Little bit of stretching. You can see how coked out Jon is, even when he's stretching. Look at him, he can't sit still. Got some backpedaling going on here. Now, if I were Jon or his coach, you can see he kind of loses his footwork at this part here. Not when he falls off. I mean, you're granted to fall off, but when you're going backwards, I'd rather see that like toe to heel press off like you see on a lot of people doing the sled. That will help with a lot of the ankle and the knee mobility there. I don't know if he needs that, but that's personally what I would do. But once you get to going maximal speeds and power, a lot of the form kind of goes out the window. It's just what's best for your body at that point. A little bit of monkey bars. Just having fun. Dude's always smiling while he trains, that's for sure. Got some squats here. All right, so what I don't like is this chain here. As you can see, when he's reaching the bottom, some of the chain kind of ravels onto the ground, and he's losing some of the tension at the bottom. And I think for the best result in his push-up, he could, or in his squat, I'm so sorry, in his squat, he could actually go a lot deeper, keep that chest really high. That's going to force you to move your knees out a lot more, open up those hips, get your abductors involved, which is great for the mobility and the injury resilience. Going down that low puts a lot of pressure on your tendons, which is great to force them to adapt. And another added benefit, even better for building muscle, going to be more hypertrophy based there. Especially Jon is going to become a heavyweight. You want to be able to stack on as much muscle so you're not getting weighed down by just bulking endlessly. Off to some hammer curls. So a big theme throughout Jon's workout here, he doesn't really control the eccentric too much. He's just yam, yam, yam on the dumbbell there, as you can see. Did the same thing on the hammer curls, yamming the weight up. If I were Jon, I'd like to see a lot more eccentric control that weight on the way down. Here, you can see he's kind of in like a hunch position. I mean, Jon's real tall, but I'm sure he can get parallel with the floor there, which is going to give him a lot better of a stretch. And then he can actually reach forward a little bit too, really stretch it out there, crunch down. I think that would be the best result for Jon. He could probably slow this from like a 1-to-1. It probably takes him 1 second to complete to 3 seconds to complete, 2 seconds on the way down, half a second or 1 second on the way up. Same thing on the other side. He did like 50 reps though, but he probably could have done 15 reps if he just did them with that form I just described. Probably could have cut his work in a third. See, something like this actually looks really good, building up that rotational strength. Someone like Jon, especially, he twists and turns a lot, spinning elbows, kicks, things like that. Sets a 5 there, really working on that maximum force production. He looked pretty good there. Every single rep should look like you're going for max force. Same thing on these squats again, though. Correct me if I'm wrong, but squats, the lower you go, you're actually going to be producing more force. I've heard a lot of people say, you know, they're training for specificity, they're adapting for their specific needs, they're never going to squat that low. But I think you're actually, one, going to be more injury resilient, and two, that when you squat that low, you'll actually produce more force when put in that halfway position than just squatting to the halfway position. The only time I think this is useful is if you're cutting your depth exactly at that powerlifting depth that you need to be at. Because if you want to lift the most weight possible, just a pure number thing, of course, cut that weight at just the powerlifting depth so you can get the perfect range of motion, min-max that. But if you're going for power output in a fight, no need. Just do a full range of motion. Some lateral raises. Now, Jon's actually got pretty decent form on these. If you wanted to target that side delt a little bit more, get some of that superhero action going on, tilt those pinkies up, he could even put on some wrist straps. That would be amazing. See, I like this, but if you see, Jon's got actually the camber bar right here. So Jon's got that bar with the indent in it. If Jon were to flip that bar, right now he's just kind of going straight on, so it's the same as using a regular barbell, really. But if Jon were to flip it so that indent were facing the bench, he'd actually be able to pull the bar farther, get a really big squeeze. Best contraction you will ever feel. He's kind of losing a lot of gains, leaving a lot on the table here with this rep variation, not flipping that bar to the other way. Stepping up to the platform. Jon's got 6 plates on the deadlift there. Pretty impressive. It's, I believe, 585 pounds, somewhere around there. Pretty easy for him, too. Doesn't look like he was at a RPE 10 there. That was probably like an 8 or a 9 for him. I'm not in his head, but to me, 8 or a 9. Doing some pull-ups here. Honestly, I'd call these kipping pull-ups. If you ask me to get some more muscular hypertrophy from these, if that's your goal, then get a nice big stretch, let those arms stretch down all the way. Big contraction at the top too, but you don't even have to get your, I'd say, nose to the bar. Maybe if you can get chin to the bar, that's even better. Obviously, the higher the better, but the big thing there is that you're pushing that head forward, getting a full stretch at the bottom there. It's going to feel like a lat pullover at the end, and then the row too. You're getting the best of both worlds there. Hammer curls, same critique. He's kind of just yamming them. Not the best form there. I think he could do a little bit better. Some inverted rows here. I think John's plenty strong, though, to where he doesn't have to do these, actually. He could just do some pull-ups. Renegade row. I actually like John's variation here. You normally see people do like a push-up left, right, push-up left, right, which I don't think is as good. He's doing one hand at a time and then going into the push-up, I assume. That'll give you a lot better of a load. He can overload his lats there on the row and then move right into the push-up, kind of a superset fashion. You could really not even probably move too much, just depending on your forearms, but he could just right as many as he can, left as many as he can, go right into the push-up. By the time you finish those push-ups, right will be back, left will be back, and then you can go right into those push-ups again because you're resting while you do the other one. Not only that, he's getting a little bit of a deficit push-up from those dumbbells there, so that's actually pretty good. I would definitely recommend doing that versus push-up left, right, push-up left, right. 20-mile-per-hour sprint here. That's actually pretty fast. John is a beast. I can tell you that much. I don't know about the person he is, but he is a beast inside of the training room and inside of the cage. That is for sure. 405 squat. He's got the, I believe these are top hat squat bar, or it says Kabuki Strength at my gym. I don't know what the official name is, though. I believe that's the manufacturer, Kabuki Strength. See, I don't like how he's got his safety set up, though. You can see here, he's really only getting half of the squat. I've been saying this the whole time. He could definitely go lower. He's got really long legs, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. Maybe he could get a heel elevated shoe or put a plate underneath, but he's definitely not getting as low as he could. He's actually kind of setting those pins artificially high to stop his squat. He might need to drop a plate in order to do that, but he'd get all the things I listed before: better injury resilience, more strength, more explosiveness, better power, more muscle building potential. I think it would be all around better. Biggest critique for him: John just needs to slow down a little bit, take his time working out, focus a little bit more on the mind-muscle connection. For those hypertrophy ones, his strength looks pretty decent, though. Most of his strength training looked really good. His coach seems pretty good. I would definitely give this a shout out, a view. If you want to check the sparring that John did too, I cut that part out. Jon Jones Heavyweight Training 2023. That's on Fighting for Life's YouTube channel if you want to check out the full video. If not, you guys know the deal. I will be here tomorrow, same time, same place tomorrow. There'll be another video for you guys to enjoy. Peace.